Hello. Hi. Hey there. Oh, nope. That was the final step. Taking that off. Okay. Hi, everybody. Feel like my hair is going to not cooperate with me today, so apologies about that. Just right off the gate. Um, Quantum Chaos in the YouTube chat does point out that there are 11 likes and 17 concurrent viewers. Ooh, 20 viewers. I'm seeing 13 likes, but there could be 20 likes. You guys pump up those numbers, y'all. I did just give myself a haircut, and I actually took a little bit of, like, I don't know, I guess I technically gave myself layers, but I did take a little bit of the length off in the front to try to make it match the back, since the back started growing out after the front. But yeah, give myself a little side shave. And then this part right here is going to be just a little screwed up looking for a while because I'm trying to... The thing about having this haircut is that if you ever deviate and like cut off too much, and then you want to fix this line and make it back to be the correct shape, you just have to like not shave a little tuft of hair. And then you have just a little tuft of hair making you look like a weirdo. But, you know, we're going to try to make it look like it's intentional. Where's my website, chat? Huh? Where is it? There it is. I found it. Okay. Hello. There we go. Mama Mephistopheles. I don't know why it's showing you as being brand new, but welcome. Just a haircut? Why not cut more than one? I know. Sometimes you just got to get that one. Cut off your split ends or whatever. But in the YouTube chat, hello Nikki, hello Benjamin, Ancom Jane, Mabs, Miro No, Godless! Hello. Great to have you here. I think we're finally starting to see some of the benefits of doing the Transatlantic Call-In show. Dally Greaser and Quantum Chaos also there in the YouTube chat. But yeah, I think finally we're starting to get more people here from Transatlantic. Had trouble logging in with my Reddit and my Discord. Okay. Might be the VPN. Oh yeah, definitely the website is a little bit funny about VPNs. That's completely out of my control, and I apologize for it. I did a couple quality of life changes this past week. Like, I have moved the donation bar, and this down here is a little different. I'm hoping that you can see it a little bit better, like the Luxander It's. I'm hoping that that's a little bit more legible down there. And I changed the gradient over here, so I'm hoping that chat is a little bit easier to read. I might still tweak this a little bit. I feel like I wish that this was more of a soft gradient and not like a hard line. But anyway, Takis is how I found you. Nice! Honestly, I wasn't expecting a stream because of the extreme heat warning for the valley. So I've discovered that my air conditioner, like, it's really loud to me, but the microphone and everything is very good at not picking up my AC, so I can just run my AC the whole time, and the door to my office is closed, so or it's shut. It's like the cat can come in and out, but the door is like mostly shut. I just realized that would be really confusing if I was like, my cat figured out how to open the door. He's not that smart. But yeah, so since I can just run my air conditioner, it's not as much of a big deal if there's a heat warning for the valley. Honestly, like, nowadays these single room air conditioners are pretty solid. You know, they seem to do a really good job of cooling down the room. They're apparently really energy efficient. Like, it's more energy efficient to cool down a place with an air conditioner than it is to warm it up with a heater. So it's going to be really interesting seeing, like, the difference in our electric bill in the summer versus in the winter. And then there's, like, a middle part of the year where we don't really need to run either one. If we just keep the windows open, it's really nice out. So, yeah. But yes, there is an extreme heat warning in the valley today and tomorrow. It's going to be like, we might actually see I think our first triple digit day, or I don't know, it depends on where you are in the valley, but like, I was looking at a meteorologist out of Eugene recently who was saying that Eugene might get its first triple digit day this year, and that this summer has been less hot up here than some previous summers. So, very fun. In a box says, I'm thinking about planting an apple tree for a climate way hotter than the one I live in. In 20 years' time, when it's fully grown, climate change will make the tree work. That's a really interesting point. So long as it can tolerate how cold it gets where you live, because that will definitely stymie its growth if it's like getting too cold in the winter. Because apparently that's actually one of the more major defining features of the food growing zones in the United States. And there's like, it's weird because like this zone down here, 6 and 7, they kind of go whoop up the coast. Because, and like, so here in the valley, you'll see like tropical plants. It's very strange, but it just never gets cold enough here in the winter for them to die off. But yeah, so if your apple tree can tolerate how cold the winter is, and then yes, planning ahead for, it's like depressing, but also like really smart to think that far ahead and being like, I'm going to plant a tree that's actually for a hotter environment. Because I think, and I've complained about this before so many times, that we are so reactive about everything, and especially the climate, that many of our solutions are far too little too late. And we do need to be thinking ahead in terms of, yeah, maybe let's invest money in farms in new places that currently don't have farms, or like help the farms in the places that are going to continue to be agriculturally capable. Like invest more in those areas. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of what I'm doing, like, because I have been going to farmers markets, and I is spending a little bit of discretionary money, but also just like trying to see if I can get all of my produce locally. And I try to spend money at multiple different businesses. Like I might get carrots at this place, and then I might get my fruit at this place. So it's nice. I'm like, I feel like I'm investing in the farms here to be able to continue functioning, and then like make sure that they're getting paid for the work that they do. And a lot of these farms are also, they donate their excess, like rather than let it go bad, local farms will donate what they don't sell. So in a way, I feel like even if the prices are a little bit higher, you are kind of subsidizing them having a certain percentage of waste that they then give away to needy people in your community. And so it's just like, here's how I can pack as much bang into my buck of forwarding the betterment of people in my actual community. So that's been pretty nice. Kitty's like, yo, I love living in the subtropical coastal climate. Yeah, it's really nice. Young says it would be helpful if mods in the line dropped links every once in a while. If I didn't know who you were from tangential Twitch politics stuff, I would never find your channel from watching the line. They do during live streams. They do. It may be that you are on the chat. So there's 2 different chat modes. I don't know if you guys ever noticed, like in the YouTube chat, at the top, there's a little drop down menu where you can select top chat or live chat, and top chat is the default, which means that messages don't necessarily come in the same order, and some messages are censored as being potentially spam. And then live chat shows all messages. So every time I come in here, and if my screen resets for any reason, I have to go manually select live chat. And then I also have a function that I can see that's fan funding. So I think that just like shows me all of the super chats. Yeah, but if I switch between top chat and live chat, it changes what it will show you. So that's a thing to note, that maybe when they post links, it's weird though, because they're the mods. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the mods do a decent job during the actual live streams. Now, does that mean that there is a link in the description? Not always. And I do think that might be something that we could target, like try to pay attention to making sure that the current host's links are in the description. Yeah, I agree that the best thing people can do is plan for the future. Um, it's hard to save money, but yeah, other ways to plan. Yeah, like, and instead of, yes, okay, Young, you said it the best. Instead of being doomer about the fact that American politicians will continue to not do as the people ask them to do, I think about how to plan for reality. Not all plans work, but it's good to think of learning how to grow food and planting things that's low cost with high future benefit, uh, as well as many other skills. Yeah, for sure. Um, I have spent a bunch of time working in my garden this week. Hit the like button if you like touching grass. Um, yeah, I've been. I was kind of just gonna say, okay, too bad I didn't get to plant anything this year because it's just so late in the year. And I was like, I'm just going to focus on other things. I'm going to focus on clearing all the weeds. I'm going to focus on making the area right next to my plot look nicer. I'm going to I might even like remulch a lot of the pathways. And I also want to like mulch over my entire plot because it's in a place where it dries out pretty quickly. And I feel like I need to put some kind of moisture retention, something there. To just keep the soil from like blowing away, basically. Excuse me. And I this news is also, so it's not just me sharing about the garden. This news is also me sharing about the kind of unexpected return of some of my physical ability. Ooh, necklace, by the way. Look at that cute shit. Anyway, so I spent like about 1 hour in the garden on, I want to say it was Thursday. And that was like, I was hoeing the garden to weed some of the grass and shit out of there. It was the part of the garden that I have already done that to, though. So, it was like, there wasn't like a ton of really difficult, really entrenched in stuff. I was just trying to like break up as much of the soil and get rid of as much of the organic matter as I could in that lower section. Having previously like mulched the pathways and stuff, and I'm still working on clearing the area. And like I need to build a new pathway on this entire other side. Anyway, so I spent that day hoeing. And then the next day, so Friday, I ended up spending like I think 2 hours at the garden, which is really cool because I didn't crash or anything. Like I was still able to be functional. I spent that time, it was basically like a cardio kind of session. I didn't take 0 breaks, but I was mostly like, yeah, let me just keep going. And it felt really cool. And yeah, in my hoe era, true. I was mostly raking, or yeah. I was like raking the top part of my plot where it's like, it is not a place where I have successfully weeded earlier this year. Although a lot of the shit in there is kind of like dried and dead because I've already taken efforts to make it dry and die off. So mostly just like raking that area and then like using the hoe to break up some stuff above the ground rather than like, I don't know, I guess I did dig up some roots of some weeds. But I got like honestly most of the area done, but not like every square inch to 100%. So I think the next step in the garden is going to be like going through in a more detail-oriented way and taking out all the little bits of vegetation and roots and stuff that are still in there, and maybe redefining some of the edges at the far end. But yeah, it was really nice to just be like, yo, I went out and like worked for 2 hours and I didn't feel bad. I had the appropriate gear. That's something that I'm realizing is very important, especially as, you know, speaking of future-proofing ourselves against like climate change and stuff. Start getting the appropriate gear that will help you stay cool. I have some UPF protectant like hoodies. This one is my super bright one that I would use if I was like walking or running early in the morning. but it's like a sun protectant clothing so that I don't have to wear sunscreen. And it's pretty nice. But it's polyester, so I was a little worried like, oh, is this going to make me overheat because it's fucking polyester? But I also have a hat that is like designed for you to get the hat wet, and then of course the wetness like conveys more heat away from your head. So I was like, yeah, this is a pretty solid. And if I started to get a little warm, I'd like step over into a shady area. And then yesterday we went bowling in the morning. Like, so for me to have that level of physical exercise like 3 days in a row, and earlier in the week I've been like still doing the recumbent bike in the morning. Probably not as often as I would like, but whatever, pretty often. So I went I went like to the garden 2 days in a row, and then we went bowling yesterday, and I walked around the farmer's market as well. And I just feel fine, which is so weird. I guess this is maybe like me finally getting over what might be a post-COVID kind of thing, like that exercise was so difficult for a while, or maybe it was just because I was trying to do a calorie deficit while I was exercising, and I'm not doing that right now. But yeah, man, I feel great, and it's surprising because I felt like shit for a while. Baby's gonna be old enough to teach gardening to starting next season. Oh, that's fun. Just letting baby like water the plants. Cute. I love that we have PhD people in the chat talking to each other. That's fun. Can you grow a sapling in a greenhouse? Yeah, I think you can grow. Like I actually do enjoy the idea of having like straight up like a lemon plant. And I actually do think that it would be better to do it in a greenhouse where it will stay warmer-ish rather than I don't know. I just feel like it could benefit from being indoors. Oh, are you asking me how long since I fully quit nicotine? Uh I think it was like 2 years ago. Are you gonna try some winter plants? Yeah, so I did decide that instead of just waiting until the springtime, like where I live has a year long, like a full year long planting. You can like plant and even potentially harvest at all times of the year because the winter is so mild. So I asked the garden coordinator people, like, are we going to get another round of donated starters, which we have gotten earlier this year? Because plenty of people do a late August planting, and I haven't heard back yet, but we'll see. I was supposed to hear back today, so I'll double check. Takes 2 to 4 years to fully recover from nicotine use at the minimum. That is dependent on how long you smoked. Interesting. And that's like, that applies to nicotine in general and not just like cigarettes, because I haven't smoked cigarettes since like 2016, 2016, 2017, 2017. But also I had COVID in October, and it was pretty gnarly. Like, I mean, if at least for my partner, it was pretty gnarly. It wasn't, I don't feel like it was as bad for me, but I completely stopped exercising at that point because I was like, I'm going to do my best to take care of my body. And that's when I gained weight. Because I was like, I'm just going to eat a bunch of food and make sure I have plenty of fuel in my body and lots of different kinds of food to make sure that I can recover from this thing. And then when I started exercising after the move, I was crashing out. It was horrendous. And I don't know if that was like from post COVID or just from we moved and I was still really stressed by that. So it's really like significant for me to be like, oh, I think I'm feeling like physically well again. Oh no, gardening gloves that stained your hands, Simpsons yellow. Oof. Untitled, thank you for the 10 Canadian. I really appreciate that. Super chats, I think, are a significant part of, like, the algorithm. I don't actually know, though. I was just thinking about this today in terms of engagement, because how YouTube is right now prioritizing shares and lengthy comments. I don't know if lengthy comments applies to like live chats or not. And then I was like, oh, I wonder if super chats count as like a larger weighted percentage of like positive indications for the stream, in the same way that likes do. So there's 32 people here and there's 24 likes. If 5 of you right now hit the like button, like that does have an immediate effect. It will immediately tell YouTube, oh, you should show this to more people. And then 3 or 4 people might just come in all at once. Is how that tends to work. So, which means it must be showing it to way more people than just 3 or 4. And I just don't know if super chats are the same in that way. But $10 Canadian is $8.36 US. So I'm just going to go ahead and call that $8. I don't receive super chats until next month, but because I think that they might be important for YouTube, I'm still fine with getting them. But just know that YouTube is going to take like 30 to 40% of your donation, whereas donating directly through the website just takes the PayPal fees. There we go. Oh, and I changed the color. I wanted to make sure, because we were talking about how it's green on green on green in here sometimes. So I was like, okay, we're going to change this to fucking hot pink and see if that, you know, gives it a little visual distinction. Nicotine messes with the tissues in your lungs the most, and there has been research that people actually intake more nicotine off the vapes than on cigarettes. We don't have too much research on how the vapes affect you, which is why I'm ballparking 2 to 4 years, but if it had been cigarettes, I would say 10 years. Okay. That makes sense. Mosh! So sorry. The train is not letting you watch the stream. Wet hat sounds peak. This is modern engineering at its finest. I mean, truly. I mean, like, it works, though. And it feels nice. And it's like, oh, I get that. Now I got that shade because I got a pretty nice brim. This is what I think I said this recently, that there is a very strong possibility that my aesthetic is going to maybe start swinging toward park ranger. And the hat that I wear is already basically like a park ranger hat, except that it's just like a little bit, I think, floppier. I imagine a park ranger hat as being a little bit more of a solid brim, and my hat is a little bit floppier. And then it has those buttons on the side where you can pin up the side, and then it turns into one of these guys. It's good. Goth Park Ranger. I mean, honestly, like, okay. So if I had money that I was willing to spend on clothes, and like, I guess technically I could maybe sort of justify this as a business expense. But I really do think it would be fun to establish like what I think of as like a forest goth aesthetic. But like nothing that I'm seeing here is exactly what I am trying to talk about. Like a forest witch. Nope, that's not it. You know when girls go to the Renaissance Festival and they have kind of like flowy dresses and clothing like that, and like maybe they're wearing a little waist cincher kind of thing, but it's like a dark foresty green, like maybe even leaning toward that hunter green color. That's kind of like the aesthetic that I would like to be exploring. I said something about this on Blue Sky recently. I was like, what did I say? I think I said something about, yeah, basically wanting to establish an aesthetic on the spectrum of like forest goth. Like, is there such a thing as a goth who is a foresty, witchy person who wears green? instead of black, because wearing black make me die. It's too freaking hot. I don't know when I tweeted this, so it's gonna be a bit before I find the tweet. Oh, it was before Lunasa even. I consistently forget that I have kombucha that I made in my fridge, and then I remember and I'm like, oh. It's very exciting. Man, I don't know where this tweet is. Okay, yeah, I said I want to make a new genre of style like forest goth. Is there a pre-existing genre, or am I trailblazing here? Something like goth forest witch vibes. Cottagecore feels different to what I am talking about. Gayfesh was like, is this what you mean? And I was like, kind of. Like, kind of. Yeah, a little bit. In the color scheme palette. But, like, what the fuck are those outfits? Anyway. Skeet, or whatever nonsense word they use. Yeah, it is skeet. I just didn't correct myself when I said tweet. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll just let that mental typo slip through. My only regret is that I have but one like to give. True. The aesthetic of being instantly forgotten because the writers got bored. I don't even want to go on a whole Game of Thrones rant today. It's not going to make me happy. I'm going to be so annoyed, and I don't want to be annoyed. That's more like dark forest nymph. Yeah, kind of. They're like dryads, sort of. Like tiny dryads. Oh, by the way, speaking of the donation goal, it is the treasure chest still. So sometimes if we don't get to the donation goal in a given stream, I will remove what was in here and put it back where it goes. I did not do that this time. So we did not open the box last time, and I have not moved what's in the box. So if you would like to find out what's in here, prefer website donations, but super chats also count toward seeing what's in here. Doesn't nymph mean smuggy? I mean, it's one of those ones that's like nymph, the noun, just nymph means like a small thing or like a small fey creature. Whereas nymph in the context of a word like nymphomania obviously refers to like, isn't that just like sex addiction, basically? Nymphomania? I think I may have told you all that I'm on a journey to turning my shower time, or even just like washing and moisturizing my face and the whole brushing teeth ritual and everything. I find it really difficult to initiate those habits.
Banana has donated $25. Banana, banana, banana.
I forgot that I put on text to speech also. So for donations on the website, not on Super Chats, on the website, you'll have text to speech as well. So thank you, Banana, for the $25 donation. Indeed, banana, banana, banana. Bananas are the one thing that are kind of sad to me. If the global economy collapses, I am really going to be kind of bummed out that I'm not going to, like, I don't know. I'm assuming that they're not commercially viable here. Like, to make, even though we are in a subtropical environment here in the valley, or just in Oregon in general, I don't know if it's possible to grow bananas up here. Because I was looking recently to see if it was possible to grow. That brings us up to $32 for today's stream. Um, oh no, my brain. It just etch-a-sketched my thoughts. What was I trying to say? Oh yeah, like I was already trying to see if coffee is available from here. There are roasters, so you can get coffee that was roasted here, and they kind of have curated the blend. But as far as I know, you don't grow coffee here. But I would really like to see us start doing it, or seeing if we can on at least a small scale. Because, man, it's going to be really annoying if the global economy collapses.
Inbox has donated $40. What's in the box? D.
Thank you, in a box, for the $40 donation. Indeed, what's in the box? You will find out perhaps today. You can grow bananas. You can grow them inside or in a greenhouse. You can also do it with pineapple. The only state in the U.S. that grows coffee is Hawaii. Well, yeah, but so I know that, but it's like, why? You know, is it because it's not possible, or is it because, like, if it's not commercially viable on a broader scale, do people just consider that, like, not worth doing? We are now up to $72 on today's stream goal of $100 to find out what's in the treasure chest. Very close to the goal. And yeah, we're on text to speech, so $5 or more donations on the website will be read aloud by the robot. But if I had a greenhouse, could I have a coffee plant, or like a couple, and then have my own very small, you know, it doesn't have to be enough coffee for us to drink it every day if what we're doing is future proofing against the apocalypse. And I have a vacuum sealer, so I could store coffee in a way that's like, let's just like suck all of the moisture out of this air and store it. Those park ranger jobs are pretty competitive, I hear. Yeah, and with them having cut funding recently for the federal stuff, then the state level jobs are going to be probably even more in demand, because but I do hope that we allocate more taxes toward our state conservation efforts and things, since we're going to be losing out.
Alien has donated $5. Help. 2 a.m. on fire.
Fascinating. I actually couldn't hear that very well because my AC kicked on right when that came through. But thank you, Psycho Plebalian, for the $5 donations. Help, I am on fire. Indeed. Like, I don't actually have to read them since they text to speech, but that's my habit, is to read them. Community coffee plantation in a community greenhouse? Possibly. That brings us up to $77 for the treasure chest today. But yeah, indeed. It's not very profitable. Making massive climate-controlled greenhouses for commercial farming is not really viable in the market, but you could grow some in your own greenhouse. Okay, yeah, that's... I hope that that could be an option. And yeah, I would like to have a citrus plant, probably a nice sturdy tree that has been grafted onto, possibly inside, but not necessarily. And with orchard trees anyway, like, you keep them shorter, you cut them short, which I might ask the garden coordinator. Like, we have a couple of apple trees, and one of them is just too tall. Like, it's just, like, there's no reason for it to be that tall. If you're in a situation where you're trying to grow fruit that people can pick, and you don't want there to be a lot of... excuse me. If you don't want there to be a lot of waste... that is just like, okay, apples are growing way up there that you can't reach. I want to see if she'll let me just, like, cut that top of the top part of the tree off, so that it can kind of grow out more, and then, like, it will have a maximum height that is still within human proportions. But I feel like I would need to ask. Oh yeah, and those park ranger jobs are definitely very physically taxing as well. That's why even if I were to go into environmentalism, I would not be able to do something like that because I'm just unpredictable physical health stuff, although it is better right now, thankfully. Oh gosh.
Psychoplebalian has donated $5. It is okay. My fire powers shall be casted to your brain so that you won't go wibbly wobbly etchy sketchy want the fucky anymore. Hooray. Foosh.
Indeed. Andy, you're gonna lose chat privileges. I appreciate the super chats, but don't use them to be annoying. Like, this is the kind of thing that I feel happens in like a large community with trolls that results in TTS getting turned off. So having now done it twice, thank you for your silliness, but please put it back in the bottle. Thank you. And thank you for your donations. As always, make sure you're taking care of yourselves. If you are on hard times, do not feel obligated to donate to me, even if you really, really, really want to find out what's in the treasure chest. Or even if you really, really, really want to see all of my pictures on Fansly. That $5 is not necessarily needed by me, if you need it. Yeah, it reads out swears. That's cool. Oh, like are we saying like the biggest thing for certain tropical plants is extending their daylight? Because in the winter they would be getting like way less daylight, whereas in their natural environment they'd get the same amount of daylight all year. So I guess you'd have to like, yeah, set up some artificial lighting in your greenhouse for your coffee plant. Puerto Rico grows coffee, not a state, but still U.S. territory. Important. True. I also put up a poll today. I'm trying this out where I'll sometimes post a poll on the same day that we're going to be streaming, just to kind of see, because Arden says, and I assume that this is from Jimmy, that when we post polls, we get more people in our live stream. So we post like a semi-provocative question, and I think then people see, because we posted about an hour before we go live, and then we go live, and I think that people, when they see the post pop up on their mobile feed usually, then they see the little circle that says we've gone live, and then they click in and they're like, oh, I really feel like I need to say something about that poll question. So sometimes, at least that's the goal, I suppose. So I've been trying to post polls myself, and the one from today is just asking if you've been keeping up with US politics lately. Like, I'm just curious, you know, to what extent people are paying attention to this right now. And I don't really know what audience is going to see that, if it's going to be my live stream watching audience or my video watching audience or my brand new subscribers or whatever, because I don't have any way to tell like who placed the votes. So I'm just kind of seeing, of the people who see the post, so far 119 people have voted. Are people paying close attention to politics right now? And 35% are very attentive right now. 51% are paying some attention, which I think I qualify as like paying some attention. Completely checked out, 4%, and secret fourth thing, 9%, which I think people are using secret fourth thing as their like, I'm not American, which I specifically asked the question in a way that would make it to where Europeans should be able to answer one of the first three answers. Like, either you're paying attention to United States politics or you're not. But they're goobers, and I put secret fourth thing just in case there was some kind of exception that people could imagine, and also for fun, and so I'm trying not to be too annoyed about it. Coffee is a leading destroyer of natural rainforests on Puerto Rico. There are multiple American-based corporations that have gotten in, and I fear another banana republic. Yeah, that is a bummer. So I guess I'm also curious, and you guys can go to the poll if you want on my community posts page on the channel, but you could also just let me know in here, like, how much are you all paying attention to politics? Because I am also curious about that. I feel like Yeah, I wish I were paying less attention, but I am doing a pretty decent job. Like I'm getting to this point where sometimes people ask me, "Have you heard about such and such?" And I'm like, "Nope," because I am trying not to pay attention. Yeah, one of those moments when reading the poll explains the poll. Yeah. I watched Philip DeFranco and Josh Johnson, also some more news on John Oliver. Okay, so that, yeah, basically just finding alternative ways of getting the news that isn't traditional style. And like I consider paying attention to what's on Blue Sky when people are posting about these things, like that is my engagement with the news for the most part, is just like people posting clips or headlines or whatever talking about what the Trump administration is doing right now. That's kind of my level of involvement with it at this time. Paying too much attention to politics, try to ignore it. Removing social media from the phone has been a good idea. Yeah, true. I didn't have Facebook on my phone for a long time because I was using it to just scroll and scroll and scroll. I recently added it back on just so that I could more easily upload pictures because it's my like personal only profile. And I want to post pictures for like my friends to see what I'm up to. And I need to get better about not scrolling Blue Sky, but at least on my Instagram, it's mostly not politics shit on that on purpose. Or it's local politics. Yawn, paying super attention. Mama says I almost got arrested a couple weeks ago confronting Texas legislators. That was a scary yet fun experience. Wow. Yeah, be careful if you're in Texas. Like, Jesus Christ, don't take many big risks there. Hanging out in live streams and chatting with people is where I usually get the tea. Nice. And like I almost feel a little bit bad because there was at least one person who told me that I was their primary source for US news at a certain point, and that was when I was posting like daily videos and all that kind of stuff. So I feel bad, I guess, sort of, that I don't cover it anymore. Or we sometimes talk about the news on the stream, but then I'm not clipping that out at all. Like I have zero desire to do that ever again either. So I'm not going to. I don't know, man. Minor sidebar: it's weird how often you and I trim our hair around the same time. We both get sick of it when it reaches a certain length. It's like it only takes one time of us cutting our hair around the same time, and then it's like, if you're shaving your hair, then it gets to a certain length, and you're like, I'm annoyed with this now. I'm moving to the Pacific Northwest from Texas at the end of the year. Is there a moving company you would recommend? We fucking bowled through it. Like we tanked it. We just did it ourselves. We got a big old U-Haul and we loaded all of our shit into it, like mostly my partner. But we packed all our own shit. We loaded all of our own shit. We drove it 4 days across the country and we unloaded all of it. And so I cannot recommend a moving company since we just tanked it all on our own, and it was crazy. And shout out to my husband because I don't think that shit would have happened if it weren't for him. Although I guess if I didn't have him, I would have had like maybe 1/8 of the stuff that we moved up here with. But yeah, still, it was nice that we didn't have to get rid of a lot of our stuff. We had the option to get a bigger truck and we had the energy and vitality to kind of just fucking do it. U-Haul is the way you can pack it best, and if anything breaks, that's on you. Yeah. Nobody's gonna take better care of your stuff than you, I think. Although I'm never, ever, ever, ever fucking doing that shit again. I'm hoping the next move that we have is not gonna be super far away, so that I can do what I have done in previous moves, which is mostly just like pack a bunch of shit into my car and make trips. I don't know. Depends on where we end up. But great to hear more people are moving to the Pacific Northwest. I love that. You know, when you move up here, uh, check out the farmers market situation because it's pretty great. It was kind of worth it almost getting arrested. It was at the redistricting hearings. Probably the most eyes I've ever had on me at a given moment. The video is on my TikTok. You might have seen. Oh, I don't ever go on TikTok. Sorry. I was sitting in the chair that Jasmine Croquette was testifying in, so I absorbed some of her energy. Nice. You should make tea. Tea is wonderful. Ooh, and speaking of coffee and the imminent apocalypse and tea, I went to go get a replacement jar of my favorite tea, which is it's like a black tea with rose in it and bergamot oil, and it's really, really delicious and wonderful. But I've been like almost out for quite a while, and I've been like, I'm meaning to go back to that store. It's one of those stores where there's like incense burning, you know? I need to go back to that store and get more tea. And I went back and they didn't have any of it, but they did have like a dried herbs and tea, we sell you it by weight kind of situation. And so yeah, she was like, oh, I have like 2/3 of the things that you need for, like, we don't have bergamot oil, but I can give you like a English black tea with roses in it. And I was like, bet, that sounds fucking lit. But they also had dandelion root, which I am so excited to try. I bought like a really small amount of it, and she was basically like, you should only use a little bit of this and add it into something else, like another tea that you have, like add it into that because it tastes really, really earthy and root-like. And I was like, yeah, but I want to try it. And she was like, do what you ever want to do. Like, it's just going to be a weird root flavor. Like, I want to try it because apparently roasted dandelion root is an excellent energy boosting thing if you do not have coffee. Yeah, it's one nice thing about the PNW is there's lots of witchy stores scattered around. Totally. So I did get a very small amount of dandelion root. I haven't tried it yet. Looking forward to seeing what comes. U-Haul is usually the cheapest route, but I have used shipping containers for sending big things long distances. Yeah. Kitty Tick recommends if you're moving across the country, buy the insurance on the U-Haul. I hit a deer 1 hour into Oregon and cracked the bumper. It would have cost $3,000 if I hadn't had the insurance. Totally. Yeah. You also can absolutely grow a tea tree in Oregon. Nice. You know, I was thinking about maybe buying some dried ingredients and putting together a custom tea blend and selling that on my store. I don't know if it's really fitting in with the vibes of like my merch store, but that's where it would be. I don't know. I'm also just, I haven't done much with the merch store in a while, and I don't get very many sales there. But I have been thinking, like, because I don't think I'm going to return to the gender anarchy symbol for the channel. Right now it has been reverted back to, it's my picture of me with the dandelion crown. And I just don't, I don't know. I really would like to be able to go and change the name of this channel to Luxander's Musing Moss and change the icon to a little Musing Moss thing. But I don't know if I'd be losing the marketing of my own face, if that makes any, I don't know. Anyway, but that means I'm wondering about the merch store, and should I get rid of the gender anarchy stuff? That's kind of all that's up there right now. And I know some people were annoyed when I actually added the green splash, and it was at first just the gender anarchy symbol, and I was like, well, maybe I could just take the green splash off and make it a more generic gender anarchy symbol instead of it being like, oh, that is the green splash. That means that this is my specific YouTube channel. I don't know. Does anybody care? Is the rose addition to your tea a super subtle taste and an aroma addition, or is it more of an I like it thing? So it does take it. It's a flavor. There's definitely a flavor, and it also changes the color. It makes it like gives it a little bit of a pinkish infusion because there were pink roses, which I like. I enjoy the visual variety in tea. I have a tea with no caffeine in it that's just like blue purple because it has a bunch of like pea flowers and other purple shit in there, like lavender and stuff too. So that's part of it for me. The experience of like looking at the tea and getting a nice variety of different. Yeah, and then like of course it's an aroma for sure. I also have heard that rose can be good for like cramps if you have muscles. Of course, your mileage may vary with those kind of folk healing things. But yeah, I like a variety with my tea. I'm a big fan of like, today I'm in the mood for this. Today I'm in the mood for this. The broad spectrum of choice that I have provided myself with tea by buying just like a bunch of different ones that I really enjoy. That is another nice thing where I get to wake up and decide like, do I want green tea? Do I want black tea? Do I want this one with this particular flavor? Which honey am I going to use? All those things just kind of makes it a really pleasant morning ritual. The way Texas is going so fast, so hard is quite the sight. Truly, yeah. And I don't know that we've talked about this at all. Because they're threatening to like find and arrest the Democrats. Okay, so here's my understanding of the situation. The redistricting for voting districts in Texas is done like every 10 years. Right now is not the time when it is supposed to have been done because it was already done recently, like within the last, like less than 10 years ago. And because Trump said, I want to get rid of the Democratic votes in Texas, more or less. I don't know what the exact words were, but at the behest of Trump, the Republicans in Texas were like, bet we are going to randomly rewrite the districts to take away the 5 Democratic seats in Texas. I think what this accomplishes is stacking the House of Representatives, like making it so that there are 0 blue votes from Texas. And I think that what's going on is that in order to move forward with that, there have to be a certain number of lawmakers present. Otherwise, like any vote lacks legitimacy because too many people were missing. And so all of the Democrats have literally left the state of Texas, to my understanding, and are just chilling somewhere else until the end of the session, like until the end of the legislative session, which I think should be soon, right? Because it's August. And then, yeah, the Governor Abbott is like, yeah, we're going to send, or I think that even the FBI was saying that they were going to cooperate with going and finding these Democrats and I guess arresting them for, I think, because they could have a fine for being missing, and it's like a $500 fine, that any lawmaker who tries to fundraise or who solicits donations on the basis that they're trying to pay that fine is going to be charged with like accepting a bribe or bribery or something. So yeah, they're basically like escalating the whole political prisoners thing. And I think that they should be, I think that we should be all aware that our Democratic lawmakers are vulnerable right now in a same kind of similar way to the immigrants in our communities are vulnerable right now. And of course that's going to continue expanding and expanding. And the more overtly oppositional you are to the fascism, the more of a target you're going to be. But yeah, so I think that it's just important to keep in mind that our Democratic lawmakers are potentially risking their freedoms and the safety of themselves and their families in order to resist this fascism, and that is necessary work that should be commended. And also that there are some Democratic lawmakers who are probably working more quietly to subvert things so that they don't end up arrested and therefore unable to affect any kind of change. You know, everybody's got their own little role to play. And I think that getting super pissed off at like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is not a worthy use of your time. But it has definitely escalated my concern for anybody I know who is in Texas. I'm sitting here like, I feel like Arden, you know, my co-host on Takis, like, she has been feeling unsure for a long time what she wants to do. And she doesn't want to leave Texas. Like, I don't think she's from there, but she really likes it there. She doesn't want to leave. She's built her life there. But I'm just so worried for her. And I feel like I'm about to be like, look, Arden, you need to make a decision and just get the fuck out of there. Like, you don't even have to make a decision right now. You just need to start making preparations. Like, because she's probably going to need to sell most of her reptiles. Like, I don't see how they're going to be able to move them across the country safely. Like, either she was talking about Illinois, she was talking about maybe moving up this direction, and either way, it's going to be like several days to get up there. And yeah, I'm like, come on, girl. It's getting ridiculous. If you want to do a proper video on it, I'd be happy to come on sometime. I'm just trying to get away from doing those explicit politics things. I do think it's important to talk about. I just don't want to talk about it anymore. Like, beyond, you know, on stream here, but in any more official of a capacity, or if I spend any more time than just the time I spend here talking to you guys, like, focusing on this, I can't do it. And I'm about to take, like, a proper vacation, too. Like, a week-long proper, like, just do not pay attention to my YouTube analytics or anything like that. Not gonna be until after the Mulan video publishes, and maybe even another day after that. But then I'm gonna just take a week, and I'm not gonna stream, and I'm gonna try my best not to be on social media. Like, I'm gonna do my best to have that be a completely offline week as a reset, maybe. And then when I come back to it, maybe it'll be a little bit easier to not get sucked into it all day long. I for sure think she should put her safety over her love for the state, as awful as that decision is. Yeah. I just feel like she should be making at least some motions toward, like, you should be slimming down your collection of animals already. I agree, people railing against AOC have no perspective. Like, and I want to be clear that I do understand, to a degree, getting pissed off at people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or Bernie Sanders or whatever. They are closer to being willing to actually hear you out if you're a progressive who's feeling frustrated with the state of everything. But, like, they are trying their best in a position that, like, is really hard to get to if you have those beliefs. So I just feel like we could be putting that energy towards something more productive. I hope the video is at least 70 minutes long. Here, I'll give you a little update. I have several things that need to be done with this. Like, I'm still finishing the script itself, and I also want to make sure I have shorts ready, and I'm gonna try to post those shorts like the day of and around the publishing of this video as like a little bit of a mini advertising campaign. So let me just tell you where the word count is right now. Right now the word count is sitting at 2674. So I don't know how long it's going to take me to read 2600 words, and I'm not even done. Like, I'm finishing the last part of this where I make the broader case that everybody is transgender. I know, I do need to get down to business. It's true. I've been trying not to like force myself too much on this project just because it's, you know, I'm in a transition phase here with the channel. I'm just trying to like not give myself too hard of a time. Oh my god, my hair is so flat. I hate that it like does that. Wish it had more volume at the roots. Don't know how to accomplish that. Whatever. Yeah, so I don't know if it's going to be... I guess I'm hoping that this is right around like 20 minutes to a half an hour long. I guess that's like an ideal length of video. Will there be a defeating of the Huns? I mean, you tell me. Why are their horses so jacked? If you talk at your normal speed, it's going to be like 2 hours. I don't think so. I actually did time myself reading like... Oh god, how many words did it have at that stage? I think it had like 1,300 words, and it only took me like 7 minutes. And I was like, oh, maybe I need to slow down a little bit, actually. Excuse me. The horses knew what was up. Yeah, why are they so jacked? I think I already asked you this question. You know what I mean? Like, their horses are so muscular and like thick-necked. And it's not like, oh, that's just what horses look like in this universe, because keep in mind that this is what her fucking horse looks like. This is what her horse looks like. And that's a boy horse. Like, a 2-hour video essay on Mulan. Is this exactly the kind of thing I like to listen to at the gym? Nice. Are we going to get a rating of how fuckable the dragons are in Mulan? I mean, no, because the only dragon is Mushu, and he's a lizard. I don't think that it's possible to put him on a scale of fuckability. It just feels wrong. Bernie is still saying it's only Netanyahu that is the problem and won't call it a genocide. AOC is still on board with giving Israel defensive weapons, so people are right to be pissed IMO. I actually don't think that AOC said that she was on board with giving Israel defensive weapons. Like, I think that I remember reading about that, and then I looked further into it, and that's not actually what happened. But also, keep in mind that sometimes these systems create impossible choices for you, and that, like, someone might be performing a certain role in order to maintain a position where they think that they might have the ability to affect greater change later on the line. Like, honestly, everybody, you should watch Star Wars Andor. There's only 2 seasons of it, and then it's over, and it is really good at kind of portraying what I'm talking about, which is that, like, there are many, many different forms of resistance, and guys, most forms of resistance you can't do openly. Like, many, many, many forms of resistance have to be done covertly. And if you are a public figure, like a Congress member, then maybe your position requires you to do some things in order to maintain public appearance, but that these people are very likely doing everything they can to subvert the system from within, because, like, everybody has their own way of dealing with this, and everybody knows that this is bad shit. So I think it's better to try to, like, operate off of an assumption of good faith from people who are, for the most part, on the same side as you. What about lizard brain rot? What? Mushu versus donkey? Oh my god. Some horses do look like that. I know. I just was like, why? I don't know. Like, they're just very different. I guess it shows that they're from somewhere else. And it's like, why are they so muscular? Oh, I guess I'm not familiar with the lizard brain rot. Mushu or Crash Bandicoot? Are you asking me, like, is it like a fuck, marry, kill, but like Mushu versus Crash Bandicoot? They're like Crash Bandicoot, you need more pixels. Or I guess in this case, it's more polygons. You need more polygons. Also, if I didn't explicitly say hi, Gayfesh, hi. I think I thought I did, but maybe I didn't. Sometimes I read things in chat and then I'm like, I will respond to that when I am done talking, and then I finish talking and I forget. Happens sometimes. Ooh, that little thing just popped up. So I don't know if you, I might be able to trigger it again just so that we can talk about it, because this is among the kind of quality of life changes that I made to the stream recently, which is that I have this little thing that plays. Let me see if I can find it. Is this my alert box? Yeah, let's see if I can trigger it. No, that's the wrong thing. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Let me see if I can trigger it. There it is. Okay, so it pops up and it tells you to subscribe and click the bell. And then it pops up and says, join my Patreon, click subscribe. And the way that it works is that it just goes off every 18 minutes. Or I think if I change my screen display... Let me just, well, here. Oops. Okay, I think also when I change screens, it triggers it. Or maybe not. Maybe it doesn't. I thought that it would, but that's okay. So every 18 minutes, it'll just pop up a little thing that says like, hey, subscribe and don't forget to do Patreon and stuff. I probably should go ahead and post like a little sample of my script to the Patreon just to be like, hey, I'm making progress on this. Here's a paragraph that I wrote just now, to make sure that I'm still giving plenty of like benefit to them, even though I'm still working on the same video. Oh, interesting. We just got an influx of new people. Okay, so is that 3 different accounts? I wonder if this is 3 different accounts or if it is... Okay, now we have 4. It's like, is this one person on 4 different accounts coming in here who subscribed and sat there for a minute before deciding to say transphobic shit to me? You really were like, I'm so excited to randomly harass a stranger that you really subscribed and sat there for 1 whole minute. And you were like, yeah, I'm gonna harass this person I don't fucking know who's just sitting here trying to hang out with their community. How did that 1 minute feel to you guys? I'm really curious. Answers in chat. Please let me know. And we're almost at 50 likes, so if you want to, you know, be useful while you're here, hit the like button. Thanks, babes. Yeah, Hi Gayfesh was lost in the ADHD buffer zone. True. Yeah, the transphobes are very smart, and they can always tell. You know, I'm gonna just step away and refill my water for like 20 seconds. So put your answers in the chat. What was that 1 minute like between hitting subscribe and being able to post what you had to say to me? Tell me what that minute was like. I'll be right back. Love you. Told you I wouldn't be gone long. Just needed to refill my water. ADHD fax machine noises. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, like where did they all come from all at the same time? This is why I think it's like a troll with like 5 different accounts. I'll wait on the nuking. I appreciate you being active though. I genuinely like the reason why I'm not blocking any of them yet is because I really do want to know, like, what was that 1 minute like where you saw my stream and you clicked it, and then you saw that you had to subscribe and wait before you were allowed to comment. And I don't think any of them are going to tell me what that was like, because I think that it's uncomfortable, and that what they're going to end up, you know, trying to get away from immediately is facing the fact that they really sat there and were like, I want to bother this person for no reason. Did you sit there that 1 minute and go, yeah, I'm cooking it up. I know exactly. I'm gonna say something, and it's gonna get the attention that I want. Yeah, Young, I agree. Like, speaking of like not criticizing AOC, is like, you know, there are more effective things that you could be doing, even if there are legitimate criticism. That's not actually R and Ra, is it? Is that actually R and Ra? I don't think so. Hold on, let me check what the... I don't think that's... No. No. Let me check the username. I bet they do have good jobs and hot wives, though. The people who came in here to bother me just now. No. R and Ra, different username. I'm sure he appreciates your honor. Honoring him by using that name. He's a chill dude. It was nice to do Skep Talk with him a couple weeks ago. No, I didn't think it was actually R and Ra, but I was like, what? I was like confused for a second. I now looked and checked what his username was. I figured it out. Yeah, exactly. Timerinia says, I bet that there was like a slow build of excitement and anticipation with a moderate amount of hand rubbing. I got some things to say. I'm gonna be transphobic for no reason. Like, yeah. All right, cool. Welcome to the website. Relow 5. Cool. I got called a confused lady the other day. Yeah, hell yeah, passing. Yesterday, I told a guy he was being weird and antisocial in a Discord server, and he was all like, no, you, and crashed out saying things like, grow thicker skin, you fuck ass, blah, blah, blah. Moral of the story, I guess, is people are fucking losers online and can't stand being confronted with that. Yeah, that's the thing, is like, you, like, just can't handle the fact that, like, when you troll people, like, they don't give a shit, and, like, in fact, the fact that you are trying to bother people all the time means that you are a dysregulated, immature little clown, like, and that nobody takes you seriously. Like, this stuff is so funny. Like, that you think you're being hurtful too. I doubt they have the brain cells to answer. Yeah. Like, what compels you? Really sit with it and think about what compels you to just, like, be rude to someone. Like, regardless of whether you think that your opinion is true, like, oh, you're a dude attempting to be a woman, like, whether or not you think that's a fact, it's really rude to enter my space and say that. And it really kind of indicates that you are pathetic and don't have anything better going on a Sunday. And you're like, oh, I'm not bothered. I guess that's why you're here, like, malding in my chat. That's like the definition of being bothered. At least level up your transphobia in a PvE zone before you try to PvP. True. Oh, do we have an account who's just saying trans are people, just not good people? That's a fascinating, sweeping statement. The F1 is on a summer break. That's why they're bored. Okay. Summer break for the teenagers. Classic. Yeah, raging out and calling other people thin-skinned and defensive on the first sign of pushback. Y'all are childish. It's very silly. Like, your opinions have been noted. Thank you. Thank you for helping my channel and me make money by commenting here. And in fact, why don't you give me $5? Support the work that I do. Help my message spread. And like the funny thing too is like I am leaning more and more away from even doing trans activism, so I'm literally just a trans person here hanging out, and this is the environment that they choose to come to be bigoted. It's like I'm here to like interrupt you just hanging out and having a good time. Yeah, they're just silly. Yeah, Mama, you've pointed this out before. It's funny when they all try to cram as many gendered terms into a sentence as possible. Like, what's up, my bro, dude, man? Like, people don't talk that way. You're weird. You're being weird. You could stop. Stop being weird. It's free.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Young, for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that. Only Hulk Hogan talked that way. Brother Jack, dude. True. Oh, man. You know, it is funny. You mentioned like the PvE versus PvP, and my partner and I were just talking last night. You know, we've been playing World of Warcraft Classic era, and we were like, okay, so technically the best gear in the game we have to raid for, but then like we have to raid in order to do it, and it's so stupid. Like, we don't want to do it. So I'm like, why don't we just PvP a bunch and get the best PvP gear? And that means that I will acquire more PvP skill while acquiring the gear. And it's just, yeah, it's just funny to me because I do love to PvP, both in video games and in real life. So it's like these people coming in here, like, they don't, like, do y'all even know that I literally do a call-in show? In fact, all of you in chat, I think this week, oh shoot, I closed the schedule earlier, but I do think it's this week, the 14th. Yeah, I'm gonna be live taking calls on the line. The channel is at QNA line, and we're gonna be doing that on Thursday, and you should call in if you want to tell me to my face what you think I am and how wrong I am and how I shouldn't be around children. Why don't you sack up and call in? Wasn't Hulk Hogan a scab? Yeah, I think... I don't know. I didn't actually hear anything about that. I know. I do a call-in show. It's crazy. But I don't actually know very much about Hulk Hogan. I only heard that he was super racist because he died recently. Like, otherwise, I did not know anything about Hulk Hogan, and I did not care about him. Well, the thing that sucks, Ember, is that in classic era, you don't have resilience. Like, there's no resilience stat. So the only things you're looking at for PvP are like survivability stats, like stamina or dodge rating and stuff like that. Can I call in and tell you how cool your room is? No, but thank you. Yeah, Scabby the Rat is a common companion for any strike. Okay, snitched on wrestlers who were trying to create a union. And said the N-word a bunch. Like, just not a good dude. I missed vanilla, but even better. I mean, classic era it's basically vanilla. I really fucking wish that they would come out with a Wrath of the Lich King classic. Oh my god, I'll stop talking about WoW now, but holy shit, I'll never stop being frustrated by that. Did they get bored? One of them was being a little bit egregious in the YouTube chat, and I went ahead and hid all of his comments forever, but like, I don't know, are they getting bored? Are you guys getting bored? Because I'm bored. Bored with your presence. Oh, we're positioning transness as an illness? Wow, that's so new. That's such a new concept. Wow, isn't that crazy? How it was in the DSM and then they took it out. Like, they reclassified it. It's not a mental illness. Like, y'all are boring. Y'all ain't got nothing new to say. That's what's so boring about it is like, and this is why I ended up getting out of atheist activism is like, and so I haven't yet reached a point of being completely bored with trans activism because obviously like I do TACUS, but it's just boring. Y'all ain't said anything new for like years. I ain't heard anything new from a transphobe in years. Y'all are boring. You ain't got nothing new to say. Yeah, the NPC dialogue makes them indistinguishable from alts. They could very well just be bots, and I would not fucking know the difference. Oh yeah, didn't Andre the Giant say that Hulk Hogan was a bitch or something? He was like, I don't like to speak ill of people, but Hulk Hogan is a fucking bitch. I don't remember exactly what he said. Fun fact, yeah, when Swedish people called in sick because they were as a protest to whole gay being classed as a mental illness, like, oh, I'm mentally ill, I'm calling in to work sick. If someone wanted to be a dog or a cat, that would be a sign of mental illness. Would it? Do you know anything about how mental illnesses are constructed or diagnosed or anything? Like, generally speaking, if something is like helping someone cope with their lives and it's helping them be happy and functional at their activities of daily living and like if they have a job and stuff, then we don't generally consider those things to be a mental illness. A mental illness is very specifically something that is causing you to not be able to function on a normal basis, which is why, like, you know how being gay used to be considered a mental illness? It's not anymore because nothing about being gay on its own causes dysfunction in your life. You can still get married, you can go to work, you can have kids, like obviously adopt. I mean, like, you can raise children, or surrogate or something, whatever. You know, like, so in a similar way, like, if someone truly believes that they're a cat, as long as they're like still able to make money and brush their teeth and take a shower and like they're not a danger to themselves or others, then we don't consider that a mental illness. You might consider it weird, like you may find it weird, but it's not considered a mental illness, I don't think. So in that sense, that like, how could being trans be a mental illness? Because it only is a problem when other people treat us badly. So I don't really know. I think you people are just fucking stupid. I mean, I think that's what it comes down to. Like, uneducated and stupid on top of that. Money is like the root of all evil, the sages say. It's true. Yeah. Oh man. I don't even want to talk about, man, I needed to like talk to my partner about our budgeting plans in the future, and like I want to start like actually seeing if it's possible to like occasionally purchase a bond to increase the value of my money. 100% of these chuds think that guys who have ear piercings and long hair, that's problematic. Truly, yeah. 42 people in here right now, 56 likes. I'm trying to get to $100 in donations today. So if you want to give me like $5, especially, so if you donate on the website chat, there's a text to speech option. So if you have a message, it'll be read out loud by my robot. And also if we reach the goal of $100, which I think is like 20 something dollars away right now, I'll open the treasure chest and you guys can see what's inside of it. You might like it. You might like what's inside of there. But we won't know unless we open it. And if we don't open the box today, then I'm taking what's currently in the box out of there. And you won't ever find out what it was. Ever, ever. A bond relies on the government remaining solvent and functional. Well, yeah, I'm just meaning like a bond or something like that. Okay, yeah, good call, Gayfesh. Thank you for being on it with that. The sudden influx of trolls usually means that someone out there with a few people watching them is malding about you. Sometimes I get an influx of hate comments on an old video and I'm like, nice, I'm making chuds mad for zero effort on my part. Yeah, like is someone like reacting to my content right now and then they're coming over here? That's not your partner, it's some gay dude. That's really funny. Welcome back, Quantum Chaos. We have some trolls in chat right now. We've been slowly weeding them out when they cross the line into egregious, but we're trying to have a little bit of fun. Anarchist Antichrist, thank you for the $20. Says, here's my DoorDash money. Keep being awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Very kind. And, oh, actually, that puts us up. We were at $82, and that puts us up to $102, which means we have opened the treasure chest. Congratulations, everybody, and thank you very much for your donations and your support. I'm sorry if it ever annoys you, my main core audience, when I entertain trolls. But, you know, it happens so infrequently that I feel like it's fun to kind of dick around a little bit. But anyway, let's find out what's in the box. Treasure chest. Every time I do this, I want to make Zelda sounds. So actually, this time it's these cute little ear cuffs. Hold on, I'm gonna snap this shut on my fingers if I'm not careful. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so these are cute little guys. I got them at the Renaissance Festival. They're just little tiny roses on like a little ear cuff thing. So now I get to add them to my aesthetic. %. This is just adjacent numbskullery from a different video. Yeah, I don't know. Also, yeah, it's kind of interesting how these people are talking about me like they know literally anything about me. Like, who is it? Who sent you? You know, who is? Do I get to find out? Okay. I don't know how well they're showing up on camera, but my little rainbow ear cuffs. What's up, Miles? Yes, yeah, it's really, really fucking hot in the valley today, so everybody needs to stay cool out there. Be chill. Just channeling your inner Forest Valkai. He likes to play along with trolls and get those videos clipped. Okay. I would really like to do a video with Forest. I honestly, I don't know that it's really going to be appropriate most of the time for me to be on Skep Talk. So I'm thinking about asking Forrest if he wants to do a Cause I Wanna with me sometime on like a Saturday, or sorry, on a Friday. Just because I like him a lot and I think it would be fun. You know, maybe even let's explicitly solicit transphobic callers. That could be really fun. I'd love to learn how to make some ear cuffs. I bet you could probably make them with just like a wire wrapping technique, at least to start with. AC on and fan right next to me. I ain't doing shit today. Yeah, again, I'm so grateful for modern technology that I can have an air conditioner running in my space and it isn't even being picked up that much by the microphone, so I can stay cool. Oh god, what a time to have a car with black leather interior and no working AC. Fuck that. Some of my wealthier older friends have told me that they strongly recommend HYSAs for young people. HYSA might get you $500 a year on a 10K savings account, but a normal savings would only get you $50. So you would agree to not touch the money for 5 years to get a much higher interest yield. Yeah, I have, there's also like certificates of deposit or something, which that I think is more at the level of the bank itself and not at the level of federal bonds or anything. Dude, I feel like it's one thing to be a troll at me, but it's a different thing to be a troll like at my community members. Especially since like this dude is being an asshole about trans kids. Like, y'all, okay, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. I was about to be like, well, I knew that I was trans when I was a minor still, but it's like these people don't fucking care. Like, just huge assholes for no reason. I feel like at least be a clever troll instead of just an abjectly rude person. Is that all of them? Have you all now crossed the line into saying something fucked up enough that I've muted you? Are there more? Are you going to start hopping on your alternative accounts and subscribing and giving me more attention and money? It's cool, Quantum Chaos. It's just not kind. I wonder if they're trying to bait enablism or something. Oh, I came real close, Viren. I definitely came close. And then I was like, listen, I don't need to do that. I was about to, and then I was like, don't. What's up, Hayden? Charm, just popping in to say hi. Oh my god. Message, cover it up. Please go away. Okay. Enjoying the media analysis videos. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I've been having a lot of fun doing the media analysis stuff. I think it's way better than talking about politics. I think that people are more entertained by it and they want to see more of it. And so I'm excited to be able to provide that. Another creator told me that they like that I'm kind of right now making like content for trans people. And I was like, that's not exactly what I meant to be doing, but I can see how it's perceived that way. And I do think, yeah, just I'm necessarily speaking from the perspective of a trans person. So sometimes I'm like, I don't even know if a non-trans person would understand this metaphor that I'm trying to explain, but here's my best explanation for it. Which is, I kind of hit that note repeatedly during my I Saw the TV Glow video where I was like, I don't even know if this is going to translate to a cis person. The second I found out non-binary was an option, it felt like a light bulb went off. True.
DSDSDS778 has donated $5.
Thank you. No comment from DSDSDS778, but thank you for the $5 donation. Appreciate that. We actually already hit the donation goal, but I could always do something fun as like a let's try to get to $200 thing. I don't know. What do we have in mind? I'm just gonna make it a mystery for now. Just in case anybody wants to keep throwing money at me, we're gonna continue streaming for another like 2 hours, so we got plenty of time. These people think they can come close to hurting me after 18 months of dealing with my own blood relatives' transphobia. Yeah, like, honestly. Like, you can't say anything new. Nothing that you're saying is hurting me. Like, in the chat right now, a bunch of people are like, oh, you're obviously a man trying to be a woman. But then in my YouTube comments earlier, I had my video, my YouTube short that was like, yes, I have one daughter, how about you? People were commenting on that earlier today going, oh, you're obviously a girl. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, y'all can always tell. That's why it's like 50-50. Potential cat? Sure. If we get to $200, I'll get the cat and risk him fucking up my shirt? Sure. I think that they finally all got bored. Thank goodness. Ooh, can we get to 69 likes today? I feel like that would be fire. If we got to 69 likes. Yeah, the accidental gender affirmation when people are bouncing between accusing you of being man and being a woman. We're all just drag investigating. I did slip it into my script for Mulan. I was like, do you guys want me to continue my Dragon Smash or Pass series that I started in January and have left on the table since then? Always funny to me when transphobes try to insult me. I think up way fucking meaner things to say about myself that don't even have to do with my gender identity. Yeah. What are you guys talking about? Why are you talking about Beanie Babies? Oh, just invest in gold and bury it in your backyard, and then Beanie Babies. Okay, got it. Okay. Makes sense. Finances are hard. IDK if they got bored, but most of them were getting bopped because they had a harder time not crossing basic lines, which, like, skill issue. True, like, yeah, you can even get more time, like, more attention from me for a longer period of time if you don't say something fucked up. But they just were like, I think it's because they weren't getting under my skin, and so they felt the need to escalate and start being more fucked up, probably, is what happened. You are male. Thank you, Bob, for that information. Can't say I understand what trans or non-binary is like to be, as I'm cis, but I don't need to know to still support. Hell yeah. Liquid. Fun name. Totally. I don't know why more people aren't just like, who gives a shit? Like, live and let live? Like, is this not... I don't know. Maybe that's the libertarian kind of lean, which I guess I lean... If we're just looking at it as a spectrum between libertarian versus authoritarian, like, I just am more libertarian, so I'm more like, I don't give a shit what other people do. And also, I don't even really give a shit if you hate me for being trans, as long as you keep that shit to yourself. Like, I'm not gonna try to change your heart or change your opinion or anything. But it's like, you're being rude, and I do stand against rudeness. So... I don't know. It's just real weird. It's true. Yes, I'm male in that I'm a small envelope being sent across the country for a reasonable fee. Hopefully I'm not getting lost. That happens sometimes. Just find Jesus Christ and detransition. You know what's really crazy is that I didn't choose to be trans, which means that I was made this way. And, like, nothing in my life was gonna send me... It's not like you could even look at anything in my past and be like, oh, you're for sure... Like, oh, you were, like, these things that happened. It makes sense why you're trans now. Like, none of that shit happened to me. Like, I wasn't sexually assaulted as a kid or anything. Like, none of that shit. So that means that God made me the way that I am. It wasn't a choice that I made. Being trans is something that happened to me. It's something I had to discover about myself. Yeah, Jesus famously telling people to hate others. True. I'm more into male than male or male. True. Yeah, I would love to get some really nice chainmail. Maybe I just need to fucking get over it and just I already have most of the tools that I would need to do that. Even if I made my own rings, which I do not want to do. But that's the only thing is, like, I would have to purchase the metal in the rings, and then you have to spend a long time, like, fucking with it and, like, learning the patterns and stuff. But I'm interested. I would really like to have, after getting my nipples pierced, I think it could be cool to do, like, jewelry that, like, is on my neck and then dangles down and, like, connects to the nipple piercings. You know, could be cute. Could be fun. Yeah, you're delusional, say the people who believe in literal magic and demons and an invisible sky man who is all loving but also gives kids cancer. People are fun. What else do I have going on this week? Oh, I guess I could share, like, some of the stuff that I actually got at the farmer's market. I didn't get, like, most of my weekly produce at the farmer's market this weekend because I'm going to go to a different farmer thingy this week to get most of my produce for this week. But I did get some walnut bread, some walnut sourdough bread, which were delicious. There was something else in it, like a fruit or something. I'm not sure what it was. I need to ask the next time I see them. So I did that. I got a little spray, like an essential oil spray that has citrus and basil in it as, like, that's going to be like my morning refreshing smell that I spray in the shower, or like just in the bathroom in general. Or like if I'm going to take a shower, I want to try and spray that around and see if that, like, makes the shower experience more like a spa experience. So I was like, yeah, let me get a local kind of essential oil spray rather than buying something on Amazon. So got that. It was pretty sweet. I bought onions at a really good price. I bought some pickled onions at a decent price. What else did I get at the farmer's market? Oh, I got some plums and some salad mix. Basil citrus does sound appealing. Yeah, it was really nice. Yeah, the donation bar is purple now. I'm trying to, keep things fresh. I also changed the background of the chat over here, and periodically there's a little thing that pops up right down here that says, like, subscribe and check out the Patreon. I wonder if I should connect some kind of noise to it. When I used to make videos with that animation, I would put a little clicking sound when it would click stuff, but I don't have that set up for the stream. So to be fair, it only pops up on the screen and isn't something we mention verbally unless I see it pop up, and then I can go, oh yeah, by the way, consider joining the Patreon. Did you get rid of the rar rar soundbite? I did, yes. I just figured it was not necessary if the, or did I get rid of it? Maybe, I thought that I added it back on, but maybe I did get rid of it. I made a bunch of changes when I was procrastinating, not working on my Mulan script this week. Source code, hey, welcome in. Great to see you and always enjoy your contributions on the line. Thank you. I am supposed to be on Takis again this week. I was on like 7 different shows last month. It was crazy. Like 6 or 7 different shows. This month I'm only going to be on 2, which is a little bit of a bummer, but still always good to be on, taking calls, talking to people. It's a good time. It was the only stability I had left. No! Oh, I'm sorry, Riffs. All right. Goodbye, Bob. Bye-bye, Bob. Oh my god, my eyeballs. Well, I guess thanks to whatever troll creator is out there, like, responding to my content and sending people over here. Gonna go to a different farmer's market tomorrow. Or farm stand or whatever. I don't know what the right term is. Get some more stuff. I definitely did not need the sourdough bread. That was a little bit of a splurge. But I was like, I want to know what a good sourdough is like. And it turns out a good sourdough is fucking delicious. So that's me being like, am I going to start a sourdough starter? Maybe. Considering it. Troll creator is a phrase doing some heavy lifting for these goofs. Well, I think what people are speculating on what's going on, Riffs No Leads, is that someone is a creator who is covering me, and these people are from that community. So, like, these are trolls who are coming from some creator who has been talking about me. And I'm curious who that person might be. Sourdough is so good. Best way to enjoy a club or tuna sandwich. Nice. People don't face enough IRL judgment for their online behavior. True. That's true. Yeah, absolutely. There's a really great farmer's market in Milwaukee, just by the way. Yeah, I bet that I could go to a different farmer's market every day of the week in the Valley. And I bet you I could probably go to, like, more than one farmer's market every day of the week. So many wonderful little stands. Like, just imagine being this weird to someone when when you don't have the privilege of hiding behind a screen. Like, are you gonna come up to my face or even call me on Thursday and go, like, you're a man? Like, okay. Are you a pussy? Like, I don't know, man. I think most of these people are. Oh. Okay. My chat just reset itself. What are you doing, you weirdo? But yeah, no, agree. People should face more judgment for their weird behavior. And yeah. I read a report that discussed looking at past data on whaling, and it seems like after the first few years of whaling, the whales learned to avoid lives being ended at a rate too fast for evolutionary changes. Cool. I mean, they have the ability to just go down deeper where we can't get to them. These people crumple like a wet bag in reality. Seen it so many times. Yeah. I almost wish that we got more... I mean, I feel like we're just in a lull where we haven't been getting many spicy callers on Takis, so maybe I'm just kind of... I mean, that's maybe why I'm being so permissive today, is because we haven't had very many spicy callers recently. And I don't know, like, okay, so I have permission, and so I'm going to start soon, probably after this Thursday. I'm going to start uploading my own clips to a separate channel for the line. Like, clips where I have been on the line. But I don't know if I'm going to only post spicy calls. Like, should I post the calls that are, like, people asking for advice and stuff? I don't know. What about me modding heavy? Do you mean, like, letting you guys go on more or less uninterrupted for 10 minutes until you say stuff that's, like, really harmful? And so then I finally hide your comments? Like, again, we said it earlier, y'all are not getting enough of a rise out of me with your dumbfuck 101 level transphobia, and so you feel the need to escalate it and say insane shit about how you jerk off and stuff. And it's like, well, duh, you know, you've now crossed the line. You're already being antisocial, but now you've crossed the line into like a very active kind of harassment. So of course you get blocked. Like, duh. It's not a fucking trophy. I got a handwritten Bible verse mailed to me from some random nut job within a few months of coming out. Oh my god. I would hate that. Quantum says the second these people run their mouth in person and get punched in the face, they learn pretty quick that they're not allowed to be internet trolls IRL. Yeah, I do think that consequences for your actions are a good thing. Yeah, also people just be using words without caring what they mean. Yep. Yep. I hope Bob learned something about whales while he was here. Yeah, like if you're gonna, here's the thing too. If you're gonna sit here and be a troll, you are going to sit here and be exposed to me just talking about my life. And I don't even know if that's like one of my primary reasons or if that's more of an ad hoc, but, or post hoc kind of explanation for myself of why I let these trolls sit here. But like I acknowledge the trolls and then I talk about something else for a couple minutes and then we flow in and out of conversation. Like you will, if you're going to sit here and troll me, you are also going to have to deal with the fact that I'm a human being and I'm going to talk about random shit that I care about and random truths about my life and my body and stuff. Like, fuck you. Like, you can't just come in here and be a troll. You're going to come in here and have to face the fact that you're sitting here being a jackass to somebody who's just living their life. I think advice bits could be helpful too, but that's just me. Yeah, I just don't want people to come away with the idea that this is what we're like supposed to be doing with our time on because honestly I think Takis is really weird on the line in general because they like we take so many more friendly callers than any of the other shows as far as I can tell. I think on the other shows they're prioritizing theists and they're prioritizing disagreements, and we are actually very strange in that we take so many callers who agree with us. But I think that's just because we don't get as many directly oppositional callers. And I think, again, it's because of what the time of day that we do it. But it's just not going to be moved, apparently. Like, there's just nothing convincing enough to get us to move to a later time slot. Oh, and then they have to QQ and cry about free speech. Free speech means that the government can't stop you from saying something. That doesn't mean that a private entity is required to promote and host your speech. You fucking numbnuts. Jesus. I love the end of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and I think back to it often. Is that Cockknocker? Dude, yeah, being banned from a YouTube live chat is exactly the same as being sent to jail. If being banned from a YouTube live chat is exactly the same as being as having your permanent residency canceled because you spoke out against genocide. You know, like imagine living in the real world where there actually are like government actions against people for their right to free speech. Yes, exactly. Ian points out that free speech is not freedom from consequences. Yeah, like I'm not required to sit here and like host your vile bigotry. YouTube chat ban equals North Korea. When they took their royalties from the movie to buy plane tickets to find all the forum trolls that shit talked them online. Oh, I had no idea that they did that. Oh no. Freedom of speech is also right next to freedom of the press, and the press can choose what to publish and not publish and don't have to publish your comments to... Yeah, right. Okay, yeah, exactly. Like, if I was a newspaper, I'm not obligated to publish anybody's comments in the paper. if we solicit comments as a newspaper organization, then I can choose, like, okay, I want to promote these kind of comments or whatever, or this person had something insightful to say. But, like, this is the thing about the entitlement nowadays is, like, no one is obligated to listen to you. And I think that this is, like, a problem, especially that people in, like, a dominant social role have, where they're like, but you have to listen to me. Like, no, I don't. Free speech does not include, like, an audience must be present for what you have to say. Like, you're not entitled to an audience. You have to earn an audience. Like, I have earned an audience. There's 40 people in here who aren't being assholes, who are hanging out because they like me and they like what I have to say. So, like, I have earned my audience by, being intelligent and fun to be around. Yeah, I'm definitely, my Lux Jong Il arc. Exactly. Shake my head. What about free speech? Says somebody who 100% would get rid of free speech if they gained power. Fucking true. Oh gosh. It's almost time for me to take my midstream break, but I feel like I don't want things to get out of hand while I'm gone. I thought most of us were a-holes. I mean, yeah, I think a lot of us are a-holes. I guess it's just about what kind of a-hole you are, or to whom you choose to direct your a-holeness. I'm certainly an a-hole sometimes, and I let myself be an a-hole to callers on Tactus. Nothing wrong with denying sick people a platform. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so you think that you are entitled to an audience, and that you get to decide when other people have the option to speak freely. Yeah. This is exactly what we always, like, we've been accurately saying about you fucking psycho conservatives, is that you don't actually have any values. You don't actually value free speech. What you value is the ability to say things without consequences for you, but the ability to impose harsh, authoritarian, fascist restrictions on other people. It's, like, so funny for you to say liberal tyranny when, again, like, our fascist government is now doing political arrests. Man, I would love to smoke whatever you are smoking and live in whatever reality you are living in, because it is not the one that I live in. And that the one that seems to be in line with objective facts. That's crazy. Yeah, nothing screams socially well-adjusted like trolling a stream chat. Fucking absolutely. Like, basically what's happening here is that this is a bunch of friends who are here to hang out, and you're like, I'm here to crash the party. I'm here to piss in the punch bowl. I'm here to kick over the charcuterie table. You're like, zero self-awareness. Oh yeah, nothing wrong with authority because Trump is in charge. So you're like, I like authoritarianism. I like it when people are hurt and subjugated and stripped of their rights and all that kind of stuff. Because you want to be in a position of power. You think that you get to cozy up to Trump and that you aren't going to get fucked by the prices of groceries. Oh man, you guys are silly. If there's one thing conservatives got right, it's living in a fantasy realm 24/7. True. Yeah, that's why I've been watching so much True Blood recently. True Blood is so bad, dude. It's so bad, but it's, like, impossible to, like, look away. I really like it for some reason. It's trash, but I'm having a lot of fun. I'm, like, in season 3 watching it right now. It's really bad. I'm giving alternative viewpoints to your audience. Do you think anyone here has not heard the things that you're saying? You know, because the thing is that, like, you are part of the dominant group. Your views are the ones that are being perpetuated on the news. Your views are the ones held by our highest ranked public officials. So you're not giving alternative viewpoints here. An alternative viewpoint, like the definition of alternative means like one that is different to the one that many people hold, or different to the one that is like, oh, okay, yeah, no, this is a fascist. You're a psycho fucking fascist, and you're gone now. Talking about the cattle cars will be full. I think you should be careful with what you say to people. You should really be careful with what you say to people. That's my parting words for you. Yeah, True Blood is trash, but it's like, it's impossible to look away. Yeah, Nazis, fuck off. This is the thing. It's like, they never stop with, like, I just don't like trans people. I don't know that there really is such thing as somebody who can stop at being transphobic and doesn't end up, like, rolling down the hill straight into licking Trump's boots and saying that we should fill the cattle cars. Like, are you fucking insane? Yeah, imagine on the one hand being like, I love free speech, but also thinking we need to cull segments of society. Psycho shit. Anyway, Gayfesh, if another troll comes in while I'm gone, just nuke them immediately. I'm just gonna go pee and like take my midstream break and everything, so I'll be gone for about 5 minutes. Let me put on some music for you guys, and I'm just gonna pick some music. I don't have any idea what it is going to be, but have fun. Back in a second. Okay, I'm back. Hello. Had to finish eating my pudding that I made myself earlier this morning. Talking about the guy from Jubilee. Jubilee video crying about how he got fired, maybe warm and fuzzy inside. Someone else says, by the way, he was lying because he was fired before the video was released. Really? Wow. Yeah, it is pretty funny, I guess. Especially because, like, that's the thing is, you know, regarding all these, like, super hateful, fucked up people in the chat today, like, they and people like them seem to, at the very minimum, want trans people to not have jobs, right? Which means that, like, what they want for us is they want us to be homeless and food insecure and, like, on the fringes of society. So, like, they want to kill us. Like, even in the nicest way to put that, where it's like, well, you know, people have a religious right. They shouldn't have to hire a tranny, whatever. Like, but what you're advocating for is that if enough people don't like trans people, that we should just die. Later, Mama Mephistopheles, have fun at the flea market. I haven't been to a flea market in a long time. The last time I went to a flea market, it was one where there were like permanent, like it was a building, like it was like a restaurant and a flea market in Westport. And I don't think, like, I imagine if there are flea markets that happen in like a parking lot, that it's probably more similar to how I think of like a farmer's market where everybody has their little gazebo thing.
7621 has donated $5.
Thank you for the $5 donation. I appreciate that. We don't know what we're doing when we get to $200, but that's where we're headed, to $200. So that's 110 so far. Or sorry, 112. My bad. $112 out of 200. We already opened the treasure chest. These ear cuffs are what was in there. So now we're working toward some nebulous goal that you guys get to decide when we get there. Thank you. Okay, the RARs are there still. Okay, good. Yeah, okay. I was like, I didn't think I completely got rid of them. This really makes me question how viable a society that doesn't punish lying really can be in the long term. Yeah. Like, I don't know how you maintain any norms if lying is not, like, really seriously punished in some way. I saw someone post about the fact that, like, real estate companies are using AI-generated photos to advertise their properties. And someone was like, you know, what's crazy about this is, like, it doesn't even really feel that egregious because this is a result of a culture where lying is normalized anyway. You know, like, it's common knowledge. And, you know, maybe if y'all don't know this, it's because your parents didn't teach you any shit like mine didn't. But it's supposed to be common knowledge that if you're trying to buy a house, you get your own inspector. You know, you have to, you pay extra money just, like, before even signing anything, in the process of deciding whether you're going to buy a house. So how many houses do you look at? How many houses do you like well enough that you get an inspection? You pay for it properly to get it looked at, because, and you have to make sure that that inspector doesn't have any kind of relationship with your real estate company that is like brokering the deal with the house. So yeah, it just, I don't know, man. Can't trust fucking anybody. Throwing in my vote now for a $200 flex prize. Sure, I haven't really been working out very much. I'm actually thinking about going ahead and starting, because I've been trying to, like, lose 5 pounds just with, like, mostly dietary changes, and now I'm just becoming more active naturally. And then I'm like, maybe I should just give up trying to lose that 5 pounds and just start identifying as a person who weighs more than I have ever weighed, and then just, like, try to make my current weight look good. So, like, maybe I should just switch to, like, exercising and not trying to lose weight. I don't know. I'm in the process. I think right now, oh my God, shut up. Right now, I'm just trying to eat intuitively for a little while. So I'm not like tracking calories. I'm just trying to be mindful of like, okay, I don't want to have so many sweets and I want to make sure I'm eating protein and being more mindful about trying to get more protein, blah, 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 blah. And then I don't know, I'm like, maybe I won't even get back into calorie counting, but I'm going to just try to eat intuitively, be mindful of whether I'm hungry or just bored. I have like gum on my desk and stuff so I have replacements. And then I'm going to start exercising again, I think, because I think, yeah, maybe I just went too hard at it before and I was restricting calories at the same time. So I was just like burning myself out. And now that I feel better physically, maybe I will try to start building up the biceps again. But I'm sure that they're less impressive than the last time you saw them. They want to not include trans people in discrimination laws. You see, it will lead to trans people getting fired. It already has, I believe, with Trump, though I try not to follow too closely. With the military, though, they did get fired. Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, that is, one of those trolls, actually a couple of those trolls earlier said, like, trans people don't exist, or there is no such thing as being trans. And that is, like, one of the ways by which you undermine somebody's rights. Like, if you're like, whatever, there's no such thing as a trans person anyway, then you can't create like class protections for that class of people. At that point, you can just say like, oh, well, they're doing something antisocial, or they're harming children, or they're doing something disruptive. Like, this isn't an identity. This isn't an intrinsic trait. It's just an aberrant behavior that we can stigmatize, punish, and eliminate, you know? If it's just something you do and not something you are, then that changes the parameters, I guess, of whether it's acceptable to eliminate your existence. What about everybody getting a free car? Wouldn't that be nice? 3K every day, dude. If I even made $3,000 a month, I would be sitting pretty, dude. Like, I recently was looking at the budget and like looking at how much I've made every month this year. I don't think I've broken 2,000 in any month this year. It's like if I made $3,000 a month, I would be much happier. Is that like not even like 3K every day? I don't even know what you said that in reference to, but I'm just like, also 3K every day. Boop, 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 woo. Anyway. Yeah, and true. Yeah, they sure are legislating a lot against something that allegedly does not exist. 3K a month would literally solve all of my problems. Yeah, it would put me in such a better situation than I am right now, as far as being able to save up a bunch per month and like also having a little bit of fun money. And like, wow, wouldn't it be crazy if I could afford a really nice gift for my partner when Christmas comes around? I had a plan for a really nice gift I was going to get him for his birthday, but I can't fucking afford it. So, and also it requires like a lot of planning and work, actually, that I am needing to sit down and just do, regardless of whether I can afford it. I just need to do the prep work for it. But yeah. The $200 stretch goal is now everyone gets a free car. Oh, totally. Yeah. With my $200 stretch goal amount, I'll give away some free cars, and then they're fucking Hot Wheels cars. Oh, 3K every day, talking kilometers, not dollars. What do you mean? Are you walking 3 kilometers per day? Is that what you're doing? Ugh, my throat is sore already. Yeah, no gifts, please. Sometimes you're in that situation where you have to be like, listen, I'm cool with not getting any gifts this year. And then you'll have other years where you're like, last year I had 37. How dare you undercut me by one gift? I don't know. What else has been going on with people? I feel like it's like, okay, I've talked to you about my garden. I talked to you about the farmer's market. We talked a little bit about like the Mulan video, which I'm gonna open up Patreon right now so that I can remember to post a blurb and be like, hey, here's a little secret thingy. Oh, also we're gonna start having way more events with the line on Zoom. So if you're ever like interested in that shit. Oh, I see. I'm on the wrong thing. Okay. I'm on Patreon and I'm gonna post later a little blurb from my script so that y'all see my progress I've been making. Been staring at a lot of latex documents. Do you actually just say latex or is it pronounced differently because it's got all the weird capitalization going on? Later riffs. Later Andy. I think I'm almost to a point where I could start hiking too. So maybe I'll look up to see if there's any like really nice easy hikes in a reasonable walking distance, and I might is this gonna hopefully finally be the fucking gateway to me becoming a 6 o'clock in the morning person? Dude, I ended up staying up late until like 1:30 or almost 2 last night, which was mostly because like I drank a little bit of alcohol, but it was like super early in the afternoon, so I got really tired pretty early in the night, but then I stayed up until my body started converting the alcohol sleepiness into the alcohol wake upiness, so I just wasn't tired until like 1:30. And it's such a a kick in the balls because I'm like I really would love to become a person who wakes up like really early in the morning. Ooh, hey, look at that. The thing just popped up. But yeah, I struggle with it because I do enjoy being up in the late night. And it's the same kind of vibes. Like I want to feel like I guess I'm having a little bit of an alone moment in the morning. And also then I can go do stuff early in the morning, like go for a hike. Most businesses not open before 9 o'clock or even 10 or 11. So there is a little bit of a downside, I guess, in that I really like to get things going in the morning and I can't really get up and leave to go somewhere if it's like, if I'm going shopping. But yeah, shit, maybe sometimes I'll get up at 6 a.m. and go for a hike. Latex instead of latex. Okay, latex. If you're going to do chainmail, I highly do not recommend really, really fine micromail. I've been mailing a piece with 24 gauge wire at 1/16th ID rings. They bounce everywhere, mush easily, and take forever to weave together. Yeah, no, that sounds like a nightmare. I think I would probably do regular size rings, like a more armor type. But I don't know. Fuck it. Also, I have no particular desire right this minute to move forward with a project like that. I have other things and skills. I want to get out my watercolors. I want to do my watercolors again. I haven't done watercolors in like a month or two. Ugh. Just requires like setting up an entire space because I don't have a dedicated art space. I wanted to create a dedicated art space, but I just don't think I have the physical space to have a dedicated art location. Ugh. Young recommends The Hiking Project as an app for trail information. Okay. Just opening up a tab so that I can check that out later. There's also the Mountain Biking Project and Trial Run Project. Oh my gosh. I don't do the mountain bike thing. Maybe someday. I don't know. I would like to get a regular city bike. I haven't looked for one in a bit. But maybe I should hop back on the, like, looking on Facebook Marketplace and see if I can find a bike. I haven't touched my easel in a year. Dedicate the time to loving yourself by doing things that you care about. What else did you say? And okay, also oh my god. Mountain project. And powder project. Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, the only times I seem able to get up early is if there's a commitment, like early appointment, or a store has gotten early quiet hours. Just too much of a night person. Yeah, it seems like this is one of those moments where I'm naturally a person who wants to stay up late, but I want to become a person who wakes up early in the morning, and you just can't be both of those things until you're really old, and then you only need like 4 hours of sleep at night, and then you can become both a late night and an early morning person. But while I'm young and beautiful, I require more sleep than that. It is easy in the summer, though, if I need to do something that involves driving around or like going to work in the garden or something, I can do that stuff. I can kind of get out of bed earlier in the morning because I'm like, I have to do this before it gets too hot outside. Most people like the app All Trails, but I like these other ones. Okay. I just can't get enough night. I don't know, man. I do like the stillness of the night, but I also think that you can acquire that stillness like in the pre-dawn, which I don't know. I think I want to at least try it. Maybe I'll just, instead of committing to a big change, I'll just say I'm going to try this new thing for like a week. So what if I just wake up at 6 a.m. every day for a week, regardless of what time I go to bed, because that's the best way to get yourself on some sleep hygiene, is like force yourself to get up at a certain time, regardless of when you went to bed, and eventually you'll start getting tired earlier, hopefully. Yeah, but... Oh, thank you.
John Get Bent got a tier 1 subscription.
Thank you for your tier 1 sub. Appreciate that. I am assuming that's only for 1 month because it doesn't tell me how many months it's for. I also just recently downloaded like 4 different language apps. Okay, yes, that was 1 month. So I have Lingo Legend, which Kitty Tick mentioned, and I have 117 on this. Sorry, just gonna update the donation goal. Thank you. Forget what I was saying. Was it about being a night person? Anyway. Doesn't matter that much. Sun sickness runs in my family, so we actually break out in sores if we get too much direct sun. Ew. I don't mean ew like gross your skin. I mean ew like the circumstances of that are very upsetting to me. Like, I'm sorry that you're vampires and you can't go out in the sun because you will get boils on your skin. That's crazy. I'm sorry. That sounds awful. But you could get something like what I have when I have like sun protectant clothing. So it's not even like, it's not like you're getting sun exposure and you're having sunblock protect your skin. It's like, let me get some actual cloth in the way here. I try biphasic sleeping sometimes. I don't think that would be my thing. I am trying to remind myself too, though, that in the process, if I'm like trying to wake up earlier and I'm having a hard time going to sleep, I can always take a nap. or at least have a lie down for like 20 minutes, you know? And that does make a difference. So I could just become a napper. Napping is an option. Male pattern baldness makes my scalp vulnerable to sunburn, so I've just started wearing hats out again. Yeah, like I said, like I wear a hat a lot of the times when I go out because it's just like, it's another thing where I'm like, I don't really love to wear sunscreen. And also, I'm just now in the process of stepping up my skincare game, which includes getting a really high quality SPF. And I don't presently wear SPF outside most of the time. I do wear a mask and sunglasses, and then a lot of the times also my hat. So that's sort of how I protect myself from the sun, although it's probably not sufficient. Like, I don't think the mask counts as UPF protecting, but you know, whatever. I'm in the process. I did just buy, because I have really dry skin and the products that I've been using have been drying it out worse. So I went ahead and like, okay, I got a new face wash and I got a new facial moisturizer so that I can hopefully start addressing this. I think I didn't use enough moisturizer this morning. I used like too small of an amount and like spread it out too thin maybe. But it feels better already. But then I also need to start a retinol of some kind and a daily SPF. So baby's first steps on taking skincare more seriously. I guess I technically started a few years ago because I even have a dedicated face wash, which I know a lot of people don't have a dedicated face wash. I'm very much a boy in these ways. I'm like, I guess I'm better than I used to be, but I'm like not taking very good care of my hair right now. Or I'm like doing things that dry it out, that are technically taking care of it, but it's just making it dry and frizzy and shit. Bleh. I tried doing 2 shorter sleeps, the biphasic thing, and it was actually really nice. You get a lot more variety in your day. When do you sleep in that? Okay, so Young says that napping is a type of biphasic sleep where you do 7 hours at night and then take like a 30-minute nap midday. And then there's also where you sleep for 4 hours, get up for 2 hours, then sleep for 4 hours. Young says that they like to do 3.5 hours, get up for 2 hours, and then sleep for another 3. Okay. Just imagining going to a place where like I sleep in the stillest part of the night and then again at the hottest part of the day. But that would be at like 4 in the afternoon for me, so. I came across a laundry product that supposedly could give a UPF layer of protection to your regular clothes for a certain number of uses, but I can't remember the product. I like the idea of it. That is really cool. Although I recently switched my laundry detergent to one from the Good Dot store. Y'all know Good Dot store? They have this like a bunch of eco-friendly products. So this is just a box of powder laundry detergent, because it's really annoying how you buy like a jug of laundry detergent and that's mostly water. So you're just paying a shit ton for water in a jug. Whereas you could have a powdered cleaning product and then mix it with your own water or whatever. So that's the whole premise of the cleaning products on Good Dot store. So I have a jar with this stuff, white powder, because it's mostly sodium bicarbonate. Yeah. And it's, you just use like a tablespoon or something. Like you don't even use that much in a load of laundry. So that's my little something I'm doing to be eco-friendly and save money and whatever. Once I'm free from dissertation writing jail, I need to see a dermatologist. Yeah, I need to get health insurance, and seeing a dermatologist is something that I would like to do because I'm white and my grandma had a melanoma on her face. So I feel like I should probably get my skin checked and then like get that done every year or so, just like keeping track of my skin blemishes. I take way better care of myself, I think. Like my grandma, I think my grandma's downfall is that she worked in an office where her desk was right next to a big old southern facing window. And SPF has only recently been added to foundation. So I think she was just sitting next to a south facing window all day long for her entire career with no SPF on her face. And probably no UV blocking windows either, because it was a pretty old building. Yeah, so I think that maybe that might be why my grandma got cancer on her face. But I feel like because I have a family history of it, I should probably pay attention. Man, this is being in your 30s is like, oh yeah, I should start paying attention to like what I eat and my family history of illness and stuff. Noah was doing a biphasic sleep of between 6 to 10 hours and then another one of 2 to 6 hours. Oh, sorry. No. Sleeping from 10 to 6, or sorry. Blah, 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 blah. From 6 to 10, what, in the morning? And then 2 to 6 in the afternoon? When were you doing what? AM, PM. Look at the trees. Greetings, heathens, sheathens, and in-betweethens. Like, yeah, that's good. Nice. Holding back an edgy joke about white people being weak to the sun. I mean, we are. We're weak to the sun. We go outside and we take like -1 damage for every moment we're standing in the sun. Just 1 damage per second. You know. Oh, from 6 to 10 p.m. and then from 2 to 6 a.m. Okay, interesting. Okay, cool. I make dinner every night, and that's usually in that time frame, so I wouldn't be able to sleep in the early evening. I think it's one of those things, too, where it's probably easier to do biphasic sleep if you don't share a bed with someone. So maybe biphasic sleep is something I won't be able to do until so long as I share a bed, maybe. Feeling called out here. Also, hey, Lux. Hi, Drea. The sun is my mortal enemy. Like, I was actually just saying how I need to be really careful about protecting myself from the sun because my grandma had melanoma. Like, honestly, I think that she had a very, very high exposure to unfiltered UV light, but I should also be mindful and careful of that. So, yeah, the sun, gotta be careful. Can't do it until you kill your spouse. True. Yeah. Gonna have to get rid of him. I would like to get a bigger bed at some point and like maybe even get a Casper mattress like on a payment plan or something so that we can have like a bigger bed and also one that transfers less motion. They're not as good for sex, but it's better for being able to get in and out of bed. And like when your partner has restless leg syndrome and is moving every 10 seconds. Later, Quantum. Have fun getting ice cream. Enjoy. Typically, I don't go outside for any length of time without putting on at least SPF 50, if not 100. You get massively diminishing returns between, like, SPF 30 and SPF 50, but... Or, like, the difference between the percentage of rays that they actually block is not that different. But I guess if you're only putting it on, like... If you're not putting it on every hour or two the way that you're supposed to reapply throughout the day, then I guess you starting off with a stronger one would probably be better. Yeah. My plan is usually to just do all my shit in the morning. So I can put on SPF in the morning and then go do all my shit and then come back home and then be home all day. Which I actually do like. I don't like that I'm not very good at my social interactions thing that I'm supposed to be doing. I am about to have to assign myself, like, go out in the world and fucking meet some people. But I do love being at home all the time. It's unfortunate. And I gotta be careful, because I go to the farmer's market and I go talk to people for, like, you know, half an hour or an hour or however long I was there. And that's dangerous because I'm getting some amount of like a social hit from that. And I can't let that replace the fact that I need to meet some people in person and like see people and like have closer relationships. Like talking to strangers at the farmer's market is not sufficient socialization. But I will take that and be like, wasn't that nice? I got to be normal. And then I'll forget to message any of my friends for weeks. Stuck in one of those again. Spooky Christine Spooky. I don't know what that is, but what's up, Jack? I managed to not overheat at the farmer's market too. I was like worried because it's supposed to be hotter this weekend, and it's in a big fucking parking lot, and of course asphalt is super hot. But I did good. There were a couple times where I was like, oh, I think I'm getting too hot and I need to leave. But then I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe if I just go stand in the shade for a couple seconds, I'll be okay. And then I was okay, which means that my symptoms are getting more easily in control. And it has been a very sudden change over the last week. So, man, oh, I'm so happy. When you like outside but are practically a troglodyte by blood? What is a troglodyte? Do you mean troglodyte? No, you're talking about a fantasy creature? An animal that is strictly bound to underground habitats, such as caves. Okay, so that is a taxonomical classification. My socialization are the servers at whatever restaurant I occasionally visit. I am such an introvert. Yeah. I don't really do restaurants either. It's like just farmer's market. Although, apparently when I visit Gayfesh, we're supposed to do a pho restaurant. So that's going to be fun. I'm hoping to plan that sometime next month. Making my way downtown. Going to Washington. I've never gone to Washington. We looked at it for a long time because we drove through the Columbia River Valley, or the Columbia River Gorge, I guess is what it's called. And so we could see Washington for a long time, but I've never been there. I've never set foot. A lot of fires there now. Troglodyte is just a big word for caveman. It's a related etymology. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, totally. There used to be a pho place I went to called What the Pho. I think we've already talked about this. I love that when the name of the food opens you up to a lot of pun opportunities for the restaurant names of the restaurants that serve that food. Yeah. Oh, dude, when I get done with this stream, I'm going to go eat more of that walnut bread. It's going to be delicious. Coming up on fire season. I think that it has started. Yeah, I think that we're like in it now, right? The dry season starts in July. And then, of course, August is the hottest month of the year. So I would assume that this is when the peak fire season is, because this is when, I don't know, I guess like everything is going to be most dry in like September. And then when does the wet season start again? Does it start in October or not until November? Because it's just like from July, like it still rains a little bit through June. It was drier than usual this year in June. But July, August, September are like the dry months. Get hyped for Takis this week. I swear, I take 1 week off Takis and I'm like, I miss it. I want to go back. Wet season starts in October-ish. It isn't a set date. Well, yeah, of course, it can't be a set date. It's nature. I was just not sure if it does sometimes start as early as October or if it's not until November. I would assume by the time we get to November, it's like, we're pretty in it. We're in the wet now. It's time for rain again. Because that's why I moved here. So I'm like, when do I get rain? When do I have rain back? I want that. And then this will be the first time that I get to experience the full winter, the full wet season. From November all the way through to fucking April or whenever it stops. Since I lived in St. Helens, Washington, it's right across the river, which was a few streets from my apartment. I walk my dog on the river's edge every day, and you need a boat to get across. You cannot swim. It looks like you could swim, but the locals said that's the first thing they warned me not to do. Like, you're going to be in the ocean. Yeah, you'll just get swept on out. Gonna be honest, this is one of the mildest summers we have had in years. Yeah, I was reading that it's like, it was hotter last year by quite a bit. So it's really interesting. I wonder what factors are influencing that. It's going to be unpredictable how things start to get more different. October to June. Okay, well, listen, if you're the one who's from here and you're saying, like, from October to June is wet season, I'm going to say, because that's what I moved here for. We got to 77 likes so far. That's pretty solid. 77 likes and like $117 in donations. That's pretty good. It has been such a nice time. Later, Liquid. Yeah, getting late in Europe. Yeah, I'm not a big person who's like keen on swimming in natural bodies of water. I'm freaked out by the animals that live there. I'm freaked out by currents. I think I would need to practice swimming in a controlled environment before I would feel like I'm a strong swimmer again. What was in the box? How did it... You missed it. It was these ear cuffs that I'm wearing. These little rainbow flower ear cuffs. Not the most exciting thing that's ever been in there, but you know, they can't all be. The deer were going back and forth, but it turns out they're stronger than humans. They have different physics, too. You know? They've got, like, the stick legs. I don't know. It probably makes them, like, sink down into the silt a little bit better. Or, I don't know, maybe they're stronger swimmers. I don't fucking know. I just reminded myself that... So, like, part of the question of... I was talking about my merch store earlier and how right now I have, like, the gender anarchy symbol with the green splash, which was my channel icon for a while. And how I'm not gonna resume that as my channel icon, so I don't know if I should switch that merch to something else or take it down. Like, should I take away the green splash and just sell, like, a straight-up gender anarchy symbol? Like, will more people buy that? But also, I'm trying to think of, like, if there's any additional merch. Obviously, if I get a new logo made, that's the kind of thing that could go on merch. But, and I've also been thinking about, like, should there be a merchandise thing that corresponds with, like, when a video comes out? Like, should I sell a t-shirt that has something to do with Mulan when I upload the Mulan video? You know? Or, I don't know. Can I just do generic shit, like, put Trans Lives Matter on a t-shirt and just fucking sell it? Like, I don't know. Not the most original thing. Oh my god, try whitewater rafting? No, I would never do that. That sounds... I'm not like a thrill-seeking human being. I like to go places and do things, but I don't like to, like, put myself in dangerous situations. I feel like selling something with Mulan on it would earn Disney ire. Girl, please trust that what I'm saying is, like, a quote from the movie or like... Just something that alludes to it, like, I don't know, like just the words "be a man" or something with like a generic dragon on it or something. I don't know. This is what I'm not like the ideas person, but I don't mean like put Mulan's face on a t-shirt. I understand copyright law on a very basic level. Yeah, I would never set foot in the Columbia River. That would be crazy. But I feel that way about a lot of rivers. So it's just so big. It's like one of the biggest rivers I've ever seen, if not the biggest river I've ever seen. Like I've seen the Mississippi River, but like maybe not at its widest points because it's such a big, long river. A picture of a cow and a picture of a boot, like moo shoe. You can sell Steamboat Willie merch. Did Steamboat Willie finally go into the public domain? Disney trolls YouTube constantly looking for videos to copyright strike. No, yeah, no, I'm aware that they're very litigious. So I'm just saying, like, yeah, is there something that we could put out? Maybe like something that I say during the video. Like maybe I need to find a quote of mine in the video and be like, by the way, I'm making a t-shirt. Get a t-shirt that says this thing that I said. I don't know what that is, but I'm just contemplating what are some other merchandising opportunities, because that's like a passive form of income. Nobody is buying my merch right now. So yeah, these are the things you have to do. You have to diversify your income. Like I get some money from Patreon, I get some money from my merch sales, blah, 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 blah. And then like, yeah, I can add merch if I get a new logo created, which I need to pay Dizzy for the work that they did in like putting the foundations down. And then I need to find a new artist to commission to make a new logo. But yeah. That also requires money, paying for people to make art for me. I'm glad that Disney let something enter the public domain. I liked your merch. You just get so much more from direct donations, so I've stuck with that lately. For everybody's frame of reference, the prices in the store are such that I make between $5 and $10 for each item that you purchase. Unless you're using a coupon, in which case sometimes I do not profit at all, depending on how big the coupon is that you are using. But yeah, I was like, I'm gonna try to price these so that I make between $5 and $10 on each item. So if you're ever like, oh, should I direct donate or whatever, like, yeah, if you were a person who donates $5 or $10, then that would work. Disney they didn't let it go in the public domain, they forced them to do it. That's fun. It was one of those side consequences of the right wing going to war against Disney. They did not pass another copyright extension in Congress. Okay, fun. Nice. It's like everybody in that situation is bad. It's like hard to root for anybody or any outcome. Aside from like, obviously it's a good thing if we don't have more restrictions on copyright, but, or like more, you know, extending it further and further and further out. Disney did fight tooth and nail to extend the copyright protections for the umpteenth time. Originally, I think it was 50 years, 95 after Disney got done with it. Yep. They are savagely monopolizing the film industry. And on that note, my voice is really sore for reasons that I do not understand. So I'm going to give it a rest for today. And I am going to plan to see you guys on Wednesday. I don't know when the Mulan video is going to come out, but I'm really hoping I can manage to get that pumped out this week. Maybe I'll try to give myself a little bit more dedicated time. Oh, we're going to record the podcast tomorrow. We've got more episodes of Andor to review on the podcast with Gayfesh and Demon Mama at Gayfesh's YouTube channel. And yeah, but other than that, I'm just gonna go ahead and plan to see you guys on Wednesday, and then whenever the Mulan video comes out, I'll probably take a break for a week after that. But I'll let you know. So thanks for hanging out, everybody, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Treat yourselves nicely with gentleness and compassion, and then try to extend that to other people around you. And you know, stay chill.